Hello, my friends on the internet. It's me, Bandit. I hope you've all been having a great summer. Actually, it is not summer anymore. It's very much so not summer anymore. It's literally Halloween day while I'm recording this, so I have no idea why I said summer. So let me do that again. I hope you've all been having a great fall, and I hope that you've been playing a lot of video games and having a lot of fun playing said video games. I am sure you've noticed that things on the channel have been a little different recently. And by different, I mean nothing's been happening. Ever since Tears of the Kingdom released, my uploads kind of went eek! That's like a car, like just hit the brakes, like eek! It's just kind of stopped or slowed down exponentially. And there are a couple of reasons for that, and I just kind of wanted to level with you all, say hello, show my face, let you all know that I'm still alive, barely. I'm sure you can tell I've got the sniffles because it's been dipping in the temperature outside, but besides my red nose and terrible appearance, I just wanted you to know that I am alive and otherwise healthy, and I hope the same for all of you. But there are some things that I need to level with you about, and I think it's only fair to level with you about these things because it's going to be affecting the content on the channel going forward. Because, yes, the channel is going forward, contrary to what some of you no doubt were thinking. But it's going to be a little bit of a change. So, first things first, I'm just going to come out and say it. Although before I say it, I do want to preface everything that I say about whatever games I talk about in this video. I want to specify and iterate and reiterate that anything that I say in this video is just my opinion. And you would do well to remember that. And you would do well to remember that everybody has opinions. And some opinions are stinkier than others, sure, but that doesn't make them any less of a valid opinion, right? Unless, of course, you're of the opinion that, 2 + 2 = 3. But that's not an opinion, that's just factually wrong. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. If I say something in this video about games, Tears of the Kingdom, about games that you don't agree with, just let it be, alright? It's my opinion, is what it is. It's gonna hit everybody differently, so here we go. When Tears of the Kingdom released, I think that a lot of the people in the Zelda fandom were excited, obviously, for a couple of different reasons. One, it was a brand new Zelda game coming out. Well, I say brand new, right? But of course it was still in the same world as Breath of the Wild was set in. But it was a brand new experience from the ground up. With an asterisk beside that, because again, it was the same link and controls and world as Breath of the Wild. But anyway, you know what I mean. You get what I'm saying. It was a very exciting new experience. And one of the other reasons why people were so excited, for people like myself and people like undoubtedly you watching this video and you who watch my channel, it was exciting because of the lore possibilities that came with the game. Because see, Breath of the Wild was vague, right? I think that's kind of an understatement. Breath of the Wild's entire world has references to all of the other Zelda games out there. There's no shortage. I mean, you can literally find the ruins of Lon Lon Ranch, from Ocarina of Time, and you can find an entire mostly intact shrine of whatever it's called from Skyward Sword. I'm sorry, I haven't been researching recently. My terminology is kind of gone right now. Listen, if you don't keep studying something, sometimes you lose some terms, all right? But you know what I'm talking about. Breath of the Wild introduced new lore to the series, but in a way that was still loosely connected to everything. And it was very interesting. And it worked for Breath of the Wild. And it gave rise to Zelda theories like we had never seen them before. Because people have always theorized about The Legend of Zelda. Hell, that's why Nintendo went ahead and made the timeline canon back in, the 2000s. Because the fans of the Zelda franchise love to theorize and connect pieces between games and whatnot. And you know what? It's fun. Because we fans of the series like that sort of thing. Not all fans do, but a lot of fans do. All right? And when Breath of the Wild came out, it was strangely new, but also the same. But there were certain things that were just missing. But because Breath of the Wild was the only game in this new lore continuum, if you will, it worked. We could talk about where's the Triforce. We could talk about where's Ganondorf. We could talk about, things like that, because it was just Breath of the Wild. And theories were very, very fun. And because of that, we knew that when Breath of the Wild was getting a sequel, a direct sequel, oh boy, that must mean all sorts of stuff for the theories and the lore of Breath of the Wild. We were finally going to get answers about a lot of the things that I just mentioned, Ganondorf, the Triforce. And speaking of Ganondorf, they announced before Tears of the Kingdom even came out that he was going to be the main villain. So there were so many reasons to be excited for Tears of the Kingdom and the story that it was going to bring to us. Now, I'm not going to go into all of it because, well, one, I don't want to piss everybody off because you were probably expecting me to absolutely love Tears of the Kingdom. And I think if you were to ask me that question, the answer is it's not very simple. It's complicated. Do I like Tears of the Kingdom? Yes. I think it's a fantastic experience. I think that the best way you could experience Tears of the Kingdom from a gameplay perspective would be to experience it without having played Breath of the Wild beforehand, because 90% of the game is still just walking around the same world of Hyrule. There should have been so many more Sky Islands. They should have done so much more with the depths. But again, I'm not doing a full-on review video where I just bash the things that I don't like about Tears of the Kingdom, because there was plenty to like. The crafting system, obviously, and I'm talking about the Zonai crafting system, crafting your gizmos and gadgets and flying machines and weapons and whatever, and the fuse system was really cool. But gameplay aside, did I like Tears of the Kingdom? Honestly, no. And a lot of that is on me, because as not just a fan of the series, but as a creator, specifically a Zelda theorist, I talked about all sorts of what if scenarios for Tears of the Kingdom. And the thing is, it's fun to talk about those sorts of things, but you got to be careful, right? Because you got to be able to temper your expectations. And so to me, man, the things that I focused on and was expecting to hear about, one of the biggest things of which was the Triforce it wasn't even hinted at in Tears of the Kingdom. It was just, and there are a lot more topics than just the Triforce, but I'm just using that as an example of how the lore and story of Tears of the Kingdom just did not care at all about anything that I wanted it to care about. Instead, it spent the time building up, again, new lore. The birth of Hyrule was birthed by the Zonai type new lore. And this is just another Ganondorf and another imprisoning war. And another set of sages. And another all-powerful set of relics called the Zonai Stones, or the Zonai Secret Stones. And the Master Sword can now break because of the superpower that Ganondorf has from one of these new relics. And then the Master Sword needs one of these new relics to repair itself to be able to beat this other new relic. And where's the Triforce again? What Triforce? What? Golden Goddesses? What? What are you talking about? Who cares about that? It's all about the Zonai. You see what I mean? There was nothing in Tears of the Kingdom that I wanted there to be. And there was everything that I didn't really care about. And it's almost like Nintendo was watching YouTube. Developing Tears of the Kingdom. And they watched our videos. And Nintendo Black Crisis' videos. And Zeltic's videos. And Monster Maze's videos. And Hyrule Gamers. And everybody's videos about the Zonai. Excuse me. And they were like, you know what? That's good. That's really good. Why don't we just do everything in the sequel about them? And anything that could possibly be a question of anything, it was the Zonai the whole time. Does it have to connect to anything in the series? No. It can just be completely new. Okay, see, now I'm ranting. And I don't want to rant about Tears of the Kingdom because, like I said, I don't want to tick anybody off. But I need to let you know how I feel about the game so that I can tell you what's going to happen to the channel because of this. Now, where the hell was I? Oh, yeah, and then, randomly, the director of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, Fujibayashi, comes out in an interview and says, oh, it could, the birth of Hyrule could have been a new continuum, or not a new continuum, but another, Hyrule could have been destroyed again in the past, and then, it was built again in the past, and, the passage of tens of thousands of years doesn't matter, and hundreds of, here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing about Tears of the Kingdom lore and what it proved about the era of the wild of Zelda games, so Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and I guess Age of Calamity, but it's not canon, so who cares? What it proved about them, and also a little bit about the rest of the series, is that the lore of the series doesn't really matter. It really needs to just be... I hesitate to say this because it's not true, but it kind of is. But it's almost like the lore of Zelda games need to just be handled game to game. I mean, and I say that's not true because Zelda games reference other Zelda games within the Zelda games. But when every game comes out, and especially the previous two, and just doesn't care about any of the previous Zelda games, and just introduces new stuff, and to be honest with you, it's not altogether all that interesting anymore. That very concept right there affects people like me, people who try to generate interesting topics and theories to talk about. See, I haven't been just sitting on my ass this entire time since Tears of the Kingdom came out, and not... Well, I have been, but what I mean is I haven't been theoretically sitting on my ass and not coming up with video ideas. I have video ideas. This isn't a video that's crying to people to give me video ideas. There are so many... It's an entire world, okay? There are so many things to talk about in Tears of the Kingdom. What's this person's story? What's that person's story? You know, whatever. And we could explain lore all day long, but here's the thing. It's not that interesting anymore. It worked in Breath of the Wild because things were just vague enough, and it was just Breath of the Wild, so we could still kind of wiggle around and make things connect and talk about what ifs. But now that Tears of the Kingdom has come out, and it's like, we still don't know what the hell the dragons are. We still don't, we still don't know where the golden goddesses are. We still don't know if this is the same we don't even know if this is the same Hyrule that has been traversed in the rest of the series. Or if it's like the new Hyrule from the adult timeline. Or like, and we don't know what the hell happened to the Triforce. Is it within Zelda? How is it within Zelda? I mean, clearly we're just writing new rules for stuff in Tears of the Kingdom. Like, there's just Zonai Secret Stones now, and they can bust things up like the Master Sword. And the Master Sword used to be more powerful than the Triforce, by the way, because Ganondorf had the Triforce of Power infuse him, literally return him from the dead in Twilight Princess, and the Master Sword was the only thing that could actually permanently kill a Triforce-empowered individual. Like, the Master Sword is all-powerful. Darkness cannot even be near the blade. And then, like, a new little teardrop stone empowers a dude, gives him Gloom, and Gloom just snaps the frickin' sword like it's a little toothpick. You know, so like we're just writing new mythology for The Legend of Zelda that overrides everything that we've known so far. And to me, because you've got to remember, I'm a fan first before I'm a creator. The only reason why I was a creator about The Legend of Zelda specifically, and to the extent that I have been on my channel, is because it's been my favorite franchise. And why is it my favorite franchise? Because it's the most interesting. It's always been the most interesting to me. It's the most heartfelt. It's got the music. It's got the stories. It's got the lore. And it's got the themes that are the same across the games. And it's always just been so cool to me. I remember when I was a kid, you know, the first time that I played Wind Waker. And the intro segment, like, described the events of Ocarina of Time. I was a kid. And I saw that. And that was amazing to me. I was like, wow. It's like a continue, and that was the same Ganondorf, and then it was so much deeper now, and like you needed multiple games to kind of understand his entire story. That is cool to me, and again, that's not cool to everybody, but it's cool to people like me. It's interesting to people like me. And that's my problem with Tears of the Kingdom. And honestly with Breath of the Wild too, but more so Tears of the Kingdom. It's like none of that stuff matters anymore. A new Zelda game can come out, and it can just write new rules. Like, in the next game, who knows? It might just be like, there might not even be a Spirit of the Hero anymore. Or you know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't even know if I'm coming across intellectually at this point. I just kind of turned the camera on. I didn't really know what this video was going to be. And I'm just talking. I'm just talking about how I feel about Tears of the Kingdom. And I didn't even, it's been, my camera's been rolling. I probably cut this video down by the time you're watching it, but my camera's been rolling for well over 15 minutes. And I did not mean to make this video that long. So I'm going to stop there. But just to summarize, I don't know if I said it or not, but just to summarize what I'm trying to say, Tears of the Kingdom's story is not that interesting to me. There, I said it. So, what is that going to do to the channel? That is the reason why I'm making this video. It's going to... Basically, I'm really not going to do videos on Tears of the Kingdom anymore. And I think that's a big disappointment for me because, you know, for years, ever since Tears of the Kingdom was teased back in 2019 as Breath of the Wild 2, you know, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, I mean, like, everybody and their mom was looking forward to that, right? And we were all looking forward to it for many reasons, many purposes. Like, I was looking forward to having years worth of content to talk about because of Tears of the Kingdom. And then it released, and I was just like, wow, nothing really matters anymore. And then they went and said that there will be no DLC additions for Tears of the Kingdom. And that was like the nail in the coffin to me. So I covered the game with my boss lore video, because I did another one that was just focused on Ganondorf in Tears of the Kingdom. And I think that's about it. I don't know if I'm going to do my dungeon lore video for Tears of the Kingdom, because again, none of it really matters. It's all just new stuff. I mean, there was so much in Tears of the Kingdom that they could have capitalized on. Could you imagine if the Lightning Dungeon, or whatever the hell it's called, the one in the Gerudo Desert, could you imagine if that was the Resurrected Arbiter's Grounds? I mean, that's what everybody was expecting, but no, you know, it had to be some new ancient Zonai ruins thing. Everything is Zonai. Everything is Zonai. And man, there were certain things in Tears of the Kingdom. Again, I don't know what reminded me of this. I think my brain was just going through the dungeon, and I remembered the cutscenes at the end of the dungeons, and so now I just got to mention it. Tears of the Kingdom. Like, how could Nintendo release a product that has like those copy and paste cinematics in it? You know what I'm talking about. Whenever you finish a dungeon and your helper, you know, be it Riju or Tiba's kid, I forget what his name is, or Unibo or whoever, you know, or Sidon. When you finish the dungeon, you are met with like the spirit of the ancient sage, and they say the same damn thing that every other one says. And your partner character says the same damn thing. Demon King, Secret Stone, Demon King, Secret Stone. And it's the same. It's the same copy and paste cinematic. Like, there's no character development, there's no... Anyway, I gotta stop. See, because I'm not trying to make this one of those videos. I'm just doing this so that I can explain to you what's happening. Anyway, I've been rambling for long enough. So, like I said, I'm really not going to be making videos based on Tears of the Kingdom anymore. Does this mean I'm going to be not covering the Zelda franchise? No, not at all. Of course I'm going to cover the Zelda franchise. I mean, like, it's the Zelda franchise. This was not enough to shake the Zelda franchise from being my favorite franchise. Although it comes close, because there are other really, really good franchises that I enjoy, which leads me to my next point. Because I'm not going to be drawing from Tears of the Kingdom, I mean, it may come up in videos, obviously, because it is a Zelda game, but because I'm not going to be drawing from it for, like, my main source of videos, I know I've talked about it for years now at this point, but it's time to branch out for the channel. Like, it's officially, it is time. So... if there is one thing that I would ask from you guys, if you're still watching this, hi to those of you who are still watching this. If you're still watching this, just comment, hello, I am still watching this, down below. You know, just do that. But anyway, if you're still watching this after you leave that comment, either edit that comment or put another comment about what your favorite franchise is besides The Legend of Zelda. Not even a video idea. I just want to know, like, what you guys' favorite franchises are. I could talk about what mine are, but that doesn't really matter. But yeah, just let me know. And yeah, that's about it. That's about all I had to say. Oh, before I let you guys go, since you're all still watching, clearly, and you've all just left those comments saying, hello, I'm still watching this, you should go to a link to success.com. Why? Because that's my book. yeah, in the meantime, I've been helping Athena Hiotis, which is a phenomenal entrepreneur friend of mine that I was blessed to have met via her reaching out to me in email. But I've been helping her a little bit with some contributions in a book that she has written. She's the author, but I wrote the foreword and several parts of each of the chapters, things like that. Anyway, it's called A Link to Success. It is a Zelda book, but it's a book about finding success out of our love for the Zelda franchise. So I highly recommend you heading over to the website and just checking it out. And if you do decide to pre-order it, I believe we are going to be meeting up and signing the pre-ordered copies, physical copies. Of course, it is also up for digital, but I can't really sign a digital copy. But if you want a signed copy of that book from the author and myself, hop on that pre-order. But anyway, that's about all I had. I just wanted to bring you guys up to speed with where I was because, things on the channel have been very quiet. And I wanted to temper your expectations for what is to come, which is, like I said, videos about the legacy Zelda games. I still have the dungeon lore and the boss lore videos to complete for the other games in the series. But I'm also going to be branching out that video series to other franchises and just covering other franchises in general. All right. Sound good, team? Well, you guys have a very happy Halloween. I hope it's spooky. Make sure Mike Myers doesn't gut you in an alleyway. And yeah, that's about the size of it. I'll see you guys later. If any of you are in Texas, I'm doing a show in Granbury Opera House. We got 2 more weekends. It's called Agatha Christie's and Then There Were None. I'm literally like the camera's still rolling and I'm just telling you guys about this. I don't even know why. Anyway, if you want to come see me in the show, I'm still doing that for the next 2 weekends at the Granbury Opera House. Okay, eat lots of candy. Peace.